Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and welcome to the mid-season finale of the Christmas season of Who'd Win and Why. And this time we got a future Robin Battle Royale coming for you guys. We got Nightwing going up against Red Hood going up against Red Robin. Now, before we move on, I just want to say that I just want to clarify, these are like the future versions of the Robins. And the reason why I decided not to do them when they were Robins is because they'd be way too similar. And these two, all three of these characters, like, they all went their separate ways. So I just think this is going to be more interesting. It's just going to be more fun to talk about. Another thing is that there's a lot of information going on in this battle because there are three characters, and it is more than likely that I am going to forget something. So if I forget something, that doesn't mean, like, if I forget to say something, that doesn't necessarily mean I don't know it. It just means that I forgot to say it while I'm speaking. So yeah, my decision has been made up based on all the information I have. So just because I forget something, just know that it's not that I don't know it, it's just that I forgot to say it in the video. Another thing that I want to say is that this video will be a bit all over the place. The analysis portion is going to be a bit all over the place, especially the explanation section. That's going to be all over the place too, and you guys will know what I mean when I say that as you watch the video. So guys, just try to keep up or whatever. This is just the easiest way for me to do it, and hopefully it'll just, I guess it'll bring some sort of a change to the series, you know, I guess. Anyway, I really hope you guys are excited for this. I know I am. Let's just get right into it. So, who would win and why? Let's find out. So since these characters are all Robins, I'm going to talk about what they all have in common first, and then go on to what each individual character brings to the table. See, this is what I mean when I say it's a bit all over the place right now. So all of them, obviously, they are detectives. They have picked up things from Batman as they are Robins, and you know, they're like detectives in training, and some of them got better on, you know, especially Dick Grayson, who's Nightwing, and Tim Drake, who's Red Robin. Red Hood a bit too, but not as much. They got better as they left, and now they are pretty good detectives in their own rights. They all have peak physical stats, or at least very close to that, meaning peak physical strength, speed, durability, stamina, everything like that. And they're also all very good fighters. Many of them, I think all of them, know many different martial arts, and they've been trained by Batman, also in the use of firearms. Only one of them obviously carries guns, but you know, they're all trained. You know, they're all trained by Batman, so they're all very proficient fighters, and they do have a lot of experience using different weapons as they've been trained to do so, and they're all good detectives. They apparently all have genius level intellect. You can basically take that however you want. I'm not exactly sure what that means, like, because sometimes genius level intellect means, oh, you know, like, you're a genius, you know, like, you know so much about, like, robotics or whatever. Obviously, it's not really the case here, so you can basically interpret that in any way you want. I hope you guys know what I mean when I say that. So yeah, that's most of what they all have in common. They also all have different things that they carry with them, like gadgets and equipment and stuff like that, so I'm going to go over each of those individually. Yeah, I think that's really all that they have in common. You know, they've all been trained, they all have a lot of combat experience, they fought a lot of different people that Batman has fought, sometimes with Batman, but that was when they were younger, and now as they're older, they do a lot more stuff by themselves. So let's now talk about Nightwing. Now, obviously, you know, Dick Grayson, the Flying Graysons, in fact, I think actually Dick Grayson has been said to be the most acrobatic person in the DC universe, and out of the DC universe, there are only 3 people that can do a quadruple backflip, and Nightwing is one of them, and that includes all superpowered people as well, so that's an extremely, you know, that's a really good feat to have. In my opinion, I think that's a really good feat to have. So when it comes to speed, Nightwing is actually said to be much faster than Batman, and he sacrifices some durability for speed for more movement. Generally what he says is, you know, move more, get hit less, which is something very, I guess that works. The only problem is that, you know, when someone's both strong and fast and durable as well, I guess, he can basically be, you know, that can be a problem for him. So what Nightwing carries is actually some sort of supplemental durability things, well, not durability things, but, you know, some sort of supplemental armors that he can put over his gauntlets, his boots, his mask, and his shoulders, which is something that not many people know about him. So I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, basically he can sacrifice some speed for durability. He can basically just put them on whenever he wants, which basically just gives him more options. So I think that's pretty cool. When it comes to his actual suit, I believe it is lined with Kevlar, so it can protect him from up to a certain point, obviously. So, you know, along with having peak physical durability and stamina, he also has the suit, you know, just the torso part mostly to keep him protected, but obviously it's not as much as Batman, as he sacrifices some durability for speed most of the time. When it comes to gadgets, he obviously has his fighting sticks. I think they have a name. Isn't it like Eskrima or something. Maybe I might be butchering the title, the pronunciation of that, but whatever. So obviously he has his fighting sticks which he can put together and use as one big rod, or he can break them apart and use them as two different sticks, which is pretty cool. So yeah, when it comes to fighting skill, he has been taught under Batman and knows many different martial arts. He's said to be second to Batman when it comes to combat, and we all know that Batman has basically mastered every martial art on the planet. So to be second to Batman, obviously he was trained by Batman, so he would have to be good, but to be second to Batman is very, like, that title should not be taken lightly, obviously. When it comes to what else he has in his, up his sleeve, I believe in his gauntlets he actually keeps things like smoke pellets and flares and flashbang grenades, and he even has his own ding wings, I believe, or wing dings, I think that's what it is, which is almost like his own collapsible shurikens, kind of like the Batarang. Now, in some versions, Nightwing does have a utility belt with him, where he keeps a lot of stuff that Batman has. Generally, however, when Nightwing is out by himself, he doesn't have that. He generally just relies on his fighting sticks and, everything I just said before, that he keeps up his gauntlets. So, generally he does not have a utility belt. If this was a prep time fight, I might give it to him because, he could prepare and use it. But because this is what would most likely happen most of the time with what they're most comfortable bringing into battle, I'm not going to give him the utility belt just because he doesn't seem to have it most of the time. Also, Nightwing does have a lot of stuff with him when it comes to the Arkham games, but I'm also not going to be factoring any of those either. I know some of you guys may be thinking, oh my god, you hate Nightwing. But no, it's just because sometimes in the Arkham games, characters have things that they never use anywhere else. Like Titan Joker, I don't believe we ever see him anywhere else other than the Arkham games, which is why I didn't use it in Joker versus Green Goblin, my Who'd Win and Why, which was the first one I ever did. So yeah, I'm not going to give him anything like that. Not saying that he might not have it during prep time, if this is a prep time fight, but because there's no prep time, it doesn't make sense for him to have it just for this one fight. It's if all three of them came together and they just started fighting to the death. So yeah, that's how I'm doing this. So obviously, he is also a good detective. He is also very quick when it comes to how fast he can process things. He has very quick reflexes. He can dodge bullets with great ease. He can also he can get out of a maze before Flash can, and can even catch Wally West. You heard me right. Now, this might be an outlier just because, he's so fast, the speed of light, well past that. So I'm not really sure how much I want to take that into account. And he's also agile to dodge through a laser field. I'm not sure if he can actually dodge real lasers. Again, that would be like light speed type stuff. So I'm not going to factor any of that stuff in. So yeah, but he is still very fast. And he's also broken, I think he's broken titanium or something, or he's broken something very tough, which again, another outlier that would take over 1,000,000 pounds of force to do, so I'm not really factoring that in it either. But this guy is still very strong. He's not as strong as Batman, just because he is still younger than he is, and when it comes to peak, everybody's different, every body is different, so when it comes to peak physical strength, it can mean different things. But he is still faster, and he's very agile. His endurance, though, is very crazy. He can keep going on, I think, for 4 days straight, or at least more than 1 day straight, just to keep fighting. And he's also been shot in the head, which is with I think it was with a bullet that's comparable to a regular handgun, and he was still conscious. Not only did he not die, he was still conscious. That's crazy, and I'll get back to that later in the explanation section, how that stacks up to everyone else. But yeah, that's something very impressive as well. And obviously he has a lot of experience. He's fought a lot of Batman villains, sometimes with Batman, sometimes without. Whenever he's without Batman, he fights characters that are very skilled in hand-to-hand combat, such as Deathstroke and Ra's al Ghul. He's even beat Ra's al Ghul in a sword fight before, which is something, again, that's very impressive, not to be taken lightly. But yeah, he has a lot of experience and has a lot of feats to back it up. And not only does he have, feats to back up, his strength level and speed level and stuff like that. And he's also, he's fought a lot of characters even outside the Batman scope. He's fought Donna Troy before. He's been hit by Donna Troy. He's been hit by Black Beetle, Cyborg, Superman. He's fought a lot of different characters over the years because he's one of the... Okay, I don't want to say one of the first because I'm not actually sure about that, but he is a very early character in the DC Universe, and we've seen him evolve. We've seen him grow, and he has done a lot of crazy things in the past. So, yeah, I feel that's really all I need to say about Nightwing. That took actually a lot longer than I thought it would, but now let's move on to Red Hood. Now, Red Hood is obviously the second Robin, Jason Todd. He was killed by the Joker, violently beaten to death by a crowbar, and there have been different origins for how he came back to life. One of them being the Lazarus pits, which, you know, like you turn back to life, but it turns you insane. So I think that's the one that most people know, so I'll just go with that one. It really doesn't matter what origin I go with. But now he's back, and he's pretty much now an assassin for hire. So the gadgets that he brings is usually 2 guns and some knives that I think he keeps up his sleeves. Generally, I think he does actually have access to some of Batman's, some like weapons or gadgets like Batman's, which does include some sort of collapsible shurikens like the Batarang. I'm not going to include too much of that because, again, it's not the stuff you would generally bring into battle just on any regular day. So, you know, maybe I'll give him like a Batarang, maybe some like smoke pellets or whatever, some stuff like that. But not too much, because that just doesn't make sense. That's not who Red Hood is. He generally likes to use his guns, and he is very deadly, obviously, with what he can do. So, yeah, you know, with guns and knives and all that stuff. So, like all the other Robins, he is very strong and fast. He was trained by Batman, and he even went on to learn other martial arts after he left Batman, which means he knows, obviously, like, he can't learn martial arts that Batman doesn't know, because Batman knows all of them, but it might mean that his martial arts scope might even be a bit better than some of the other combatants here. So that's very impressive. That's something, you know, I'm not sure, did Nightwing or Red Robin, did they train outside of that? I'm not 100% sure about that. But still, that's something I definitely know for Red Hood, and that's something very interesting. So obviously, Red Hood, you know, he does carry a lot of stuff with him, which is something I've already said multiple times. Let's move on. So when it comes to what he wears in his armor, he does have an armored suit. It does kind of look like he's just wearing like casual clothes, but he does have an armored suit. Even his helmet is armored. It's not even a hood; it's a helmet that contains a computer inside. So that's pretty cool. It obviously can survive. It probably can survive like guns and whatnot. I think it's been able to do that before. So that's very impressive. Why do I keep stuttering? But anyway, so yeah, he's done a lot of stuff over the years. Obviously not as much as Nightwing, because there was obviously a time that he was dead, and he just hasn't been around for as much. But he is an assassin for hire, and what he likes to do is he likes to like scope out his victims months in advance to learn more about them, and then he likes to basically kill them. So yeah, he's an assassin for hire, and he works with a lot of other villains sometimes, and he likes to, especially when it ends in Batman's destruction, because he just hates Batman. He blames Batman for the condition that he is in right now. But he is a very good strategist, and he does have a lot of destructive capability as far as assassins go. So yeah, he is a very good fighter. Again, like superhuman strength, speed. No, sorry, not superhuman. What am I saying? You know, peak physical strength, speed, durability, endurance. He hasn't fought that many characters. He has fought Nightwing and Red Robin before. He has fought characters like those and Batman, and he has fought other masters of fighting, but he hasn't gone up to like anyone like Donna Troy, I think is what it is, or Cyborg Superman or anyone like that. Just because, you know, what he does is he sticks around in the Batman circle type thing, if that makes any sense. But yeah, Red Hood is a complete and total badass. He has gone up against a lot of Masters of Combat before, and he's even won against some of them, so that's something very impressive. Again, he was trained by Batman, and he knows a lot of martial arts, and even more than Batman has taught him. And, you know, he's well respected by the League of Assassins, so that's very impressive to say the least. So I believe that's really all I have to say about Red Hood. That actually went quicker than I thought it would compared to Nightwing. And now let's move on to Red Robin. Now, Red Robin is Tim Drake. He is the third Robin, and believe it or not, he has been said to be the best detective of any of the Robins that Batman has had under his wing. Red Robin is even said that, like, Batman has even said, I believe it was Batman who said this, that he will eventually take over as the world's greatest detective. Which is something very, very cool. I think that's very cool. So yeah. Oh, another thing about going back to Red Hood for a second. Red Hood's biggest weakness is obviously that he's obviously insane, and his rage can sometimes get the better of him. If he starts, you know, like getting frustrated, it can leave him open, which is something that Batman has told him before. But anyway, back to sorry about that. Back to Red Robin. So Red Robin, he's obviously a master of combat, but he is also a great detective, better than any other Robin that Batman has had under his wing. Generally, he does fight a lot of characters in the Batman scope by himself, kind of like in a Red Hood type way. But he also fights a lot of characters that are extremely strong, like Mr. Freeze and Killer Croc and Bane, sometimes by himself as well. And when it comes to what gadgets he actually has almost as many gadgets as Batman. He does have a utility belt and also just gadgets around his suit. So that does mean that he does have batarangs, he does have smoke pellets, he does have flashbangs, he has a lot of stuff that Batman has. I don't think it's I think it's nearly to the level that Batman has. I don't think it's absolutely all of them, but it is a lot of them regardless, and it is still something. Yeah, it's still some, it gives him a very big versatility advantage over most of the people that he meets. And he also obviously, strength, speed, durability, peak physical condition, just like everyone else. He also, I believe, when he was fighting, he has actually stalemated Batman, and not regular Batman, Dick Grayson Batman, who, remember, he's like second in fighting skill next to Batman, and Tim Drake stalemated him. So that's something very impressive, to say the least. I keep saying that a lot. Whatever. So, also talking about what he can do. So he does have a back grapple, obviously. He has a lot of the stuff that Batman has, and he is a great detective, and he's obviously worked by himself a lot, though he has worked with other people. In fact, he's one of the people that has worked with, one of the combatants here. He's one of the main combatants here that's actually worked with more people than any of the other combatants. Because he's worked with Superboy before. He's worked, I believe, with some members of the Teen Titans in the past. Obviously, Dick Grayson did this as well, but that was before he became Nightwing. But yeah, Tim Drake has worked a lot with other heroes, and that does mean that sometimes he relies on them, especially when he fights characters that are like outside of the Batman scope. But he's still fought them before, and he's worked with other heroes, and maybe even fought them as well. So that's very impressive as well. And detective skill. Now I'm just repeating myself. But he obviously can hold his own against many other fighters, because he is also a great combatant as well. Yeah, so that was just a brief rundown of Tim Drake. Most of the other stuff that like Red Robin and Tim Drake and Nightwing have done, I feel, aren't really that necessary, or maybe I'm just forgetting something. Again, I told you that might be likely. But now, trying to figure out who would win this. Now, this doesn't go for everyone, but I know that there are a lot of people who expect Nightwing to win this one. I know that there are a lot of people who want Nightwing to win. I know they expect Nightwing to win. And a lot of you are going to be happy when I say that I feel Nightwing's going to win. So yeah, I feel Nightwing would win this fight, and this explanation is going to be a bit all over the place, so please just bear with me. Let's get into it. So first I'm going to talk about the advantages. Okay, no, not the advantages. I'm going to talk about the categories that I feel that these characters are fairly even in. And those two categories are strength and durability. These two, like all three of them, are pretty equal in strength and durability. When it comes to Tim Drake's costume, I don't exactly know what it's made of, but there haven't been any members of the Bat family that go out without some sort of like extra padding underneath, or just some sort of durability enhancement. So just to say that Tim Drake doesn't have it because I haven't found anything seems a bit like it doesn't seem right. It just doesn't make sense to me. So all of them, even though like I'm sure that their armors are made of different material, roughly they all have some armor with them. So I'm going to call them fairly even in durability. And when it comes to strength, no one is really neither one is more stronger than the other. Or at least not by that much. If I had to give anyone that point, it would be Nightwing, because Nightwing is the oldest, and every body is different, so he'd probably have like more strength. But even so, I just feel that they're roughly even. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the categories that Red Hood and Red Robin have, and talk about why they might not actually be the best categories to have advantages in. Let me explain. So Red Hood, his advantages that he has over the other two are strategy and destructive capability, or I guess in this case deadliness. He arguably can take a life quicker than any other Robin, they're not Robins anymore, but any other Robin, because he has guns with him and knives, and obviously with prep time he has a lot, he can strategize really well, and he knows how to like prepare for things. The problems with those, though, is that here's the thing. When it comes to the preparing stuff, again, this has no prep time. This is stuff that he has just, without any prep time. And obviously it's not going to play that much a factor into here, because he's fought both of these characters before. And it's not someone like completely new that he's never seen before, like most of my other Hoodwin Ys are. But, still, it's still something he would need prep time for a lot of the battles that he can do. And for the other thing, which is destructive capability, with the guns and everything like that, deadliness. Both Tim Drake and Dick Grayson have been able to dodge bullets before many, many times. So I really doubt, and because both of them have fought Red Hood before, I feel that they might be able to dodge his bullets just as easily as they were able to dodge sniper bullets, which is something that Nightwing, and I'm assuming probably Tim Drake, has done as well. So, that's, I just feel that basically the advantages that Red Hood has over them doesn't really play that much into doesn't play that much of a factor, or at least it wouldn't as much as some other advantages would, which I'll get into later. Now, when it comes to Tim Drake has the advantage in detective skill and also a slight advantage in versatility because, obviously he has nearly all of the weapons that Batman has. Now, here's the problem with that. Detective skill, how are you going to use detective skill in a fight? That doesn't really factor that much into a fight. I guess he could use his magnifying glass, but again, it doesn't really mean anything. And when it comes to versatility, both Red Hood and Nightwing have had enough experience going up against those types of attacks. Like the batarangs and stuff like that. They've encountered those weapons and gadgets before, and plus I feel that both of them might be able to dodge them anyway, considering that Nightwing can dodge bullets. But regardless, they've but not only does Nightwing and Red Hood have some of the stuff that Tim Drake has, but obviously not all of it, or else I wouldn't be giving him the point for versatility. But it's also just they've seen this stuff before, and they probably know how to get around it. They know how to dodge it and everything like that. So I just think that that's, again, it is a pretty good advantage to have, but even so, he doesn't have that much of an advantage of versatility, because like I said, Nightwing even has some stuff that neither Red Hood or Tim Drake have, or Red Robin have, like he has the fighting sticks, he has the flares, he has stuff, and he has, the supplemental durability stuff with him. So, that's just, again, the versatility, it's a fairly good advantage, but not to what other people, not what, to what Nightwing might have over them. Now let me get into what Nightwing has over them and explain why I feel that Nightwing would win. First of all, agility and speed. Nightwing absolutely destroys both of them in this category. Remember, Nightwing likes to move around a lot. He likes to get hit less. And in a battle royale, that's something very important. In order to win a battle royale, what you need to do is you need to make sure you don't get hit too much early on, or else you're not going to be prepared for the final fight. And it doesn't matter if the final fight is with Red Hood and Nightwing or Red Robin and Nightwing. He's going to be better for it because he's not going to be hit as much. And he already has the durability to make up for it in case he does get hit. The stamina and the durability in case he actually does get hit. And if he finds that he's being overwhelmed by anything that, Red Robin or Red Hood has, he has the supplemental armor, which he can put on whenever he wants to change up his strategy in case he really feels that he needs to. So again, in agility, he's going to be able to dodge. He's been able to dodge in a laser field even without even looking. So that's something very impressive. He's said to be much faster and much more agile than Batman, and we know, and Batman already has the age advantage over Nightwing, and Nightwing is one of the three best. He's the best acrobat in the DC universe. So that's something, again, something not taken lightly. That's something that he's going to be able to dodge a lot of what these two people are going to throw at him, whether they're guns or batarangs or anything like that. Another thing, stamina or endurance. This is something very, very important. Remember, this guy is able to exert himself for 4 days. And that's something that I've not seen anyone else do. In fact, Red Hood doesn't operate for generally more than a night, because what he does is he likes to prepare and likes to just do things during the nighttime. But Dick Grayson, Nightwing, he's been able to exert himself for a really long period of time, more times than Red Hood has at the very least, and same with Tim Drake. So, and also, he got shot in the head, not from point-blank range, but he got shot in the head and was still conscious. If that's not durability and endurance, I don't know what is. That proves that, even if he does get hit by one of Red Hood's bullets, it's not over. Even if he gets hit in a very crucial spot, such as the head. I don't know how you can get more fatal than that. Getting shot in the head, and that's something that he can survive. So, that's something, again, something very impressive, and something that's really going to help him out, especially in a fight like this. Fighting skill. Fighting skill, Dick Grayson also takes this point, but not by as much as some of you might want to admit. Because while he has said to be second best to Batman, and while he has actually beaten Red Hood in a one-on-one fight before, Tim Drake has been able to stand up to him while he was taking over as Batman, and Red Hood has been able to he's been able to beat Tim Drake, and has been, again, this is all over the place, and Red Hood has also been able to learn more martial arts, possibly even more than Nightwing has. So yeah, they're all fairly even. I don't even want to say they're fairly even. I still think that Nightwing takes the point in that, but it's still something that's it's still something that it's something fairly close. None of them are helpless when it comes to fighting skill, but I still feel Nightwing takes the edge in that, the slight edge, maybe not even the slight edge, just because, you know, he's second best to Batman and he's just seen to be in another league. And, you know, the biggest factor in this, is experience and feats. This is where I feel that Nightwing just completely destroys these two characters. Nightwing is older. He's been around the comics longer. Red Hood has had some time where he was dead, where he wasn't able to do anything. And Tim Drake, generally what he does is he fights, whenever he's fighting someone extremely powerful, he's getting help from Superboy and other members of the Teen Titans. And whenever Red Hood's fighting someone extremely powerful, which rarely ever happens, he's working with other villains, and it's because he's an assassin for hire. Remember, that means that his whole job is essentially to work with other villains and to basically do what they say. So that's, again, basically their experience just doesn't stack up to Nightwing's. Nightwing has fought many people, many powerful people, by himself a lot more often. He's fought Donna Troy, and some of you don't know what that is. She's basically like this is a really weird thing to say, but she's like a younger version of Wonder Woman, which then don't take that literally. She's not like cloned from Wonder Woman and being younger, but, you know, like, basically it means that she's nearly as powerful as Wonder Woman, and he's taken hits from her post-crisis. So that's, again, something very impressive. He's also been able to hurt Cyborg Superman and take some of his punches. He's been able to smash Blockbuster, who's a very strong Batman villain, through a brick wall. He's been able to take hits from Black Beetle, people who I've mentioned before, and most of this he's doing by himself. And he's been able to take down Ra's al Ghul in a sword fight, something that Red Hood tried to do and failed. And the feats, like, again, he's just done so much. He's taken bullets to the head. He's been able to catch Flash, and he's been able to even, like, I'm not sure if he's been able to beat Batman, but he's at least been able to stalemate Batman many times. So again, just because of the feats and the experience, like, maybe these other two characters are able to do the same thing as well, but they've never really done anything like that. Nothing to the scope that that Nightwing has been able to do. And like I said, something that I mentioned earlier, both of these two characters, Red Hood and Red Robin, generally stay in the Batman scope of characters. Whereas Nightwing, as he grew up, he's been able to go well beyond that. He's been able to fight many different characters, sometimes by himself, and he's still not dead. Even though he's not as durable as Batman, he's still not dead. And that's something that's something really important that I feel is worth saying. Obviously, another thing is that Red Hood, as soon as he starts getting frustrated, you know, it's going to be hard for him to actually land any good hits on anyone. But, you know, just because of all of Nightwing's significant, and I say significant advantages because there are a lot of advantages that Red Hood and Red Robin have that I don't believe are as significant. But yeah, because of Nightwing's significant physical advantages over everyone else, I just feel that Nightwing is more suited to win. He's going to be able to dodge more attacks, at least better than the other two are going to be able to do. He has more experience, meaning that what these two are doing is really nothing new to him. And, you know, he's just been around longer, more feats to back up what he's done. I just feel that he's the best Robin suited to take this victory. So, in my opinion, the winner is Nightwing. So guys, I know I said that this video was not going to be half an hour long, but you know what? It looks like it's going to be half an hour long. So sorry about that. Some of you might have even commented that, you know, you said it wasn't going to be half an hour long. Now it is. Whatever. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know I did. If you have any more questions about these characters, because maybe I didn't mention everything I should have, please comment that down below, because I really want to know. That would really help me out when it comes to, you know, what you guys are looking for. And also, if you have any information to tell me, please tell me in the comments below. tell me who you think would win. Who is your favorite Robin of these three? Or maybe even the other ones, like Stephanie Brown or Damian Wayne. Anyone, people like those. You can tell me in the comments below. If you like this episode, please give me a like. Comment down below everything I said before. Comment down what you thought of this video. And if you could subscribe to my channel, that'd be so great. That would really help me out. I'm making these videos more and more regularly now that I'm on Christmas break. So if you could subscribe, that would really help me out. Join the community. I take a lot of suggestions for other seasons. So if you want to leave a suggestion in the comments below, subscribe and give me a suggestion, and I might use it for season 6 because it's a regular season now. Also, I am doing a Q&A fairly soon, so if you want to leave your questions in the comments below, please go to the Q&A announcement video, which is on my channel, and leave your questions there. If you want to do it on this video, that's fine as well. Just please make sure that the question is for the Q&A, or else I might just answer it straight up in the comments, and that will just defeat the whole purpose. But yeah, just wanted to let you guys know in case you were interested. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you don't agree, that's obviously okay. Just tell me why in the comments, because I don't know everything about these characters. But regardless, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun making it. And next time on Who'd Win and Why, we got the Grinch going up against Krampus. See you all then.